Chapter 14. JR watched Melody push the cart and the two girls away. He collapsed against the counter with a sigh. This was the first time in 4 days he had gotten any peace. The kid would not shut her yapper. Yep, that's the look most first-time parents give me. Mr. Withers leaned on the counter so his face was next to JR's. I ain't their dad. Mr. Withers chuckled. So how are you feeling, old man? JR lifted his head. Melody says you were real sick. I'm fine. Melody's a warrior, like her ma. Mr. Withers stretched his back. True, I would have been back on my feet days ago if I was a younger dog, but bah. He shrugged. So what's the story with the kits? Mr. Withers leaned his elbows on the counter. Where'd they come from? I found them in a pile of rubble that used to be Jalou. Mr. Withers' eyes widened, exaggerating the wrinkles around them. Melody said something similar, but I thought she was exaggerating. Must have happened right before I got there. It was still smoking. What were you doing there? Had a job, JR said, and left it at that. Neither Mr. Withers nor Melody approved of his line of work, and judging by the way Mr. Withers grunted, he still didn't. JR labeled himself a master thief, able to liberate anything from anywhere without anyone realizing it was missing. In fact, his trip to Jalou had been to retrieve a priceless holodisc from a bank vault. But the bank, buildings, everything had been leveled. JR had been about to search through the bank ruins to find the disc when he had met Zena and Cathra. What do you think happened? Don't know. I can't think of what could level an entire city. JR stroked his chin. We're not far from Jalou. If a bomb went off, we would have heard or seen something. And there's been nothing about it on the news. Plus, how did the kids survive? JR watched Melody take the girls up one aisle and then down the other. I want to go back to investigate, but the GFG Corporation has already moved in to rebuild. The GFG Corporation? Not the government? From what I understand, they greased a lot of palms for the privilege. JR sniffed. They're searching for something. What? Dunno, but it might be what caused the city to collapse. They're always experimenting with different technologies, dabbling in military applications. Nothing like this, though. Ah, boy. Mr. Withers ran his hands over his face. So what are you going to do with the kits? JR stared at the spinning fan a moment. Guess I'm going to keep 'em. You, taking care of 2 little girls? Mr. Withers burst into laughter. JR didn't move. Anyone would have told me that last week, I would have laughed and punched him. You're serious, then? Mr. Withers' smile faded. You're going to keep them? Don't got a choice. What do you mean? Because the kid... I don't know. JR felt his fur rise. She has this power over me. What? Before he could answer, JR felt a tug on his coat. When he looked down, he spied Zena holding up a box of cookies. Mr. JR, can I get this too, please? She grinned so wide it made her squint. JR knew it was a mistake to look into her adorable wide brown eyes. He'd get lost in an instant of the gold flashes and her bright smile. He knew it, but he did it anyway. Before he was aware, he found himself saying, Sure you can, kid. Get whatever you want. Zena jumped up and down. Thank you, Mr. JR. She hugged his leg before hopping around the corner. There's what I mean, JR said. Every time I'm convinced I should give him up, the kid does or says something so blasted cute I can't say no to her. He hit his head on the counter. I'm going soft. Like a marshmallow. I can't do this. JR shook his head. I haven't got a good night's sleep in 4 days. Not to mention the baby. Her diapers are worse than chemical warfare. And what am I supposed to do when I got a date? Having kids is a big decision. They'll change everything. I'll probably kill him within a week. Mr. Withers fingered his chin. Probably less. I'm not like you, a responsible adult who has successfully raised a beautiful daughter and straightened out a delinquent kid. Not sure about how straight the delinquent kid is. Mr. Withers eyed JR. But what are you getting at? Can you take them? For a little while, please. No. Mr. Withers faked a cough. I'm a sick old man. I'm too frail to handle kids. Just until I finish my pending jobs. 3 weeks. A month, max. No. All right. JR straightened his coat. I'll go to Plan B. What's Plan B? JR smirked, ears falling slightly. Use their cuteness against you. I've already raised kids. Mr. Withers rested his cheek on his hand. I'm immune to cuteness. Plan C? Bribery. Plan D, blackmail. Plan E, threatening. Mr. Withers laughed out loud. I've known you since you were a pup. I'm not afraid of you, and I can still take you over a knee. Plan F, merciless begging. JR dropped to his knees. Plan G. JR raised his hands. That's all I got. Then you're out of luck, Mr. Withers said. These girls are so cute. Melody approached, pushing a cartload of groceries. Catherine kicked her feet and burst into laughter every time her heel hit the grocery cart. Melody stopped to look down at JR. What are you doing on the floor? Unsuccessfully asking your father for a favor. JR stood to brush his knees off. What's all this? Essentials. Melody unloaded the cart for Mr. Withers to ring up. And you're paying for all this. This is robbery of a kind even I would never stoop to, JR muttered. Melody snickered. Hey, where's the kid? JR looked around, but Zena was nowhere to be seen. Over in the corner. Melody pointed with her chin. She wanted to draw, so I let her open a pack of pens and an activity book. JR stiffened his whiskers. Guess I have to pay for them too. It's on me. She was so cute when she asked with her big old brown eyes. See, Withers, it's not just me. JR glared at Zena, lying on her stomach drawing. Look at her sitting there, plotting her next move. She knows what she's doing. It's a setup. You've been a fugitive for too long, JR, Melody said. You're getting paranoid. $274.59, Mr. Withers said. For groceries? You live off nothing but alcohol and crackers, Melody said. JR grumbled as he removed his wallet and handed him the money. Done! Zena skipped over to JR. I made something for you, Mr. JR. She held out her drawing to him. JR looked at it. 3 stick figures, each with ears and a tail, stood in front of a square and triangle house. A swirling smokestack ascended from the non-existent chimney. Above it all was a thing with wings. Criminy, kid. I already said you can stay. This is overkill, ain't it? Uh-huh. Zena's ears fell. You don't like it? Jared glanced at his companions. Watch this. After this, you'll see she knows exactly what she's doing. He picked up Zena and set the picture on the counter. Tell him what it is. Zena pointed to the stick figures in turn. That's you, and that's me, and that's Cat. Then she pointed to the things with wings. And that's an angel. He's happy because you're going to take care of us. She smiled so that her nose crinkled. Melody covered her mouth and squealed, That's so adorable. Mr. Withers turned to hide his laughter. Do you like it? Zena looked up at him with her wide eyes. Yeah, kid, it's nice. Zena threw her arms around him. Jar looked at Mr. Withers and mouthed, And that's why I'll never be able to get rid of her. Then he set Zena down and walked out with the groceries still in the cart.